Welcome to Powerful Women Off the Record. I'm your host, Elizabeth Veely. Today I am reflecting on my time with Julie Roy. Julie is a very successful entrepreneur who has bought and sold multiple companies and now has a wealth mastermind, as well as wrote a book and is just active in so many ways. There was so much to think about after Julie and I spoke, and that I just wanted to kind of, I guess, meander down the road with. And, the first thing I think of is her humble beginnings, right? So she's a self-made woman, right? Like, she's the one that you read about and hear about, where she started with nothing. Her family didn't have much, and her mom was a single mom, and she had her grandparents, helping out. But like she said, she was from an Italian immigrant family living in Canada. And they really had to grind it out, right? And at a very young age, she watched her single mom, with all the sacrifices, with all the working 3 jobs, just a tough life, right? And it sounds like, it doesn't even sound like a switch went off in Julie. It probably happened so young, when she realized she was going to create a life that was different. That can be really powerful, right? Where you just make this really deep decision and commitment to yourself and your future, that you're going to do things differently, and you're going to find a way, and you're going to have a life different than what you're seeing around you. And it's funny how that happens. My mom came from an immigrant family, and we talked about just the boldness to be able to come to a new country, a language you don't speak, eventually bring your family over, and how hard that must have been, how the confidence and the hard work that takes. But I can really relate to what Julie said. And shout out to mothers. I'm going to do a shout out to my mom and a shout out to Julie's mom, where I had a similar experience where, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, but honestly, I didn't even know until I was so much older, because my mother did such a good job with hiding it, I guess, and sacrificing herself so that we really didn't notice, and it's kind of mind-blowing when I look back on it, honestly. Like, I think the first time I realized with my mom is I was older, and I was being nosy, and I was poking around in her closet, and I noticed how few items of clothing she had. She made sure me and my brothers had all the clothing we needed, but she had such few pieces of clothing. And then I started noticing where she bought them from, and how rare it was for her to go shopping. And it just crashed in on me. I can actually still feel it, about how she just wasn't buying anything for herself. She wasn't doing anything. And she was making us this amazing life in this amazing world. And I don't know, just these moms are so powerful. So, Julie's mom was such I guess a catalyst for her, right? And she's watching this woman that she loves grind it out, and Julie didn't want to add to that, so she started working all the jobs. And she is so humble. Like, when you listen to her, I completely can see how she really didn't care what she had to do. If it was good money and it worked with the hours between school, she was going to do it. And she tells a great story about, she even dug graves for a while. It worked within her schedule. And, I think it's amazing how action is always rewarded. So she talks about, well, she followed her breadcrumbs, right? Like, she, at the time, was going along for school, and but she was alert, like Julie's very alive. She's very alive with what's going on around her, like there's just life force in her. So she takes this job because it works with her school schedule, and it ends up being more than she realized, right? It's a Montessori school, and she starts relating to it because she had challenges learning because of her high energy. You'll pick up on such high energy and other reasons. And then she just, watched a different methodology of teaching our kids. And if you don't know anything about the Montessori school system, it's definitely worth looking into. It's really, really fascinating. But the thing is, like, she could have just done that, right? It could have just been a little side job while you're in college. But instead, like, she was just so plugged in. And it kind of grew from there, right? Where she realized she was good at it. This passion towards children and education is kicking in. And she can feel her calling, right? I mean, she definitely has this spiritual side to her where she talks a lot about her instincts, but I think she also just kind of trusted that she was in a certain situation for a reason, that something had put her there. So that's, again, all well and good, right? That could have just been a great job, and maybe she would go and become a teacher. But she had such big plans, probably always. I really want to go back and talk to Julie again and learn more about her when she was like young. She was probably doing things that just drove her parents crazy. I can only imagine. But that entrepreneur side kicks in, right? And then next thing you know, she's buying a Montessori, and then she's growing the Montessoris. And but I love about her story that I think is important for everyone to realize is when you see someone as successful as Julie, when they're self-made, that was all effort, right? And some people talk about luck, but I like that saying where luck is mostly just preparation, right? It's being over prepared, and then things present themselves to you. So, why she went from, in fact, I don't even think she said in the interview that she ever thought about becoming a Montessori teacher. That's not where she went. She just saw this Montessori program that was so good for children that she could relate to, that she wanted more children to have access. And so she started going down the path of growing it and creating them and buying them and scaling them. And, she paid her dues, right? Like, she talks about the space they had to use, and they had to set it up and take it down all the time because other people were using the space. And strangely enough, that's another thing I can relate to, where I grew up in a catering business, and my parents rented out of a union hall, and they got a great deal, and so it was a great blessing. But the catch-22 was someone else used the hall every Saturday from 9 till noon, so we could not get into the hall until 12:30, and we catered weddings for 300 people. And imagine, you can't even get into the room to decorate it and set up tables and chairs until 12:30, right? And people are walking in by 5:30 or 6. So every Saturday was a fire drill of, setting up all the tables and the chairs. I mean, physically setting up the tables and chairs, and then everything on it. I mean, I did it when I was very young. So the beauty of ignorance, right? Where I didn't really know there could be an easier way, right? It was just what my family did. A tremendous amount of work. So shout out to all caterers out there. I realize how hard that is. So I can totally relate. And the fact that she had her husband helping is massive. Just having that support system, that divine masculine supporting the fire of this divine feminine. Because let's face it, like, the more Julie Roy succeeded, the more kids were going to succeed. Right? I mean, that's really when the universe lines up for you and backs you. So, I mean, I just want to like process that one more time. The more Julie Roy succeeds, the more all the people around her benefit. And then I just think the universe starts funneling success through you, and finances through you, and opportunities through you, because they know you're going to be a really powerful conduit to so many people. I mean, if you think about it as if there's this unlimited energy all around us, and our job is just to channel it in and bring it into a creation. And if it helps others, or it fulfills a need of others, I just think that valve opens even more. And then the more proficient you get with how to manage that flow, and because, Julie's a lifelong learner, and she's so good at learning from those around her, and she values the wisdom. And, again, coming back to how humble she is, I feel this to this day, where it just, she just seems so open to learning from the people around her, and she's curious and appreciates what they're sharing. And then she is so driven to share it herself. Like, it's like something inside of her has to do this. Like, she has to help others. And I just think it's a beautiful example of, you don't necessarily have to be self-sacrificing. I mean, she's enjoying her prosperity also, while she's bringing all these beautiful things into the world. And to me, that's right. And everyone's got their own journey, so I'm not knocking that. But for those people that think it's one or the other, like, you either are going to help other people and have to, have a scarcity mindset yourself, or, the flip side, everyone that's doing well maybe isn't as giving. It's not like that. It's not black or white. And I think Julie's really got this secret formula that we could all learn from. I think another thing is Julie really accepts the adversity that she went through. So I can't even say she's re-scripted it. A lot of people will say when you go through tough times, try to go back and re-script it. It doesn't even feel re-scripted. It just feels like she genuinely is thankful for the adversity she had, because she is so aware it has made her the woman she is today. And it's a genuine appreciation for those hard times. And that's beautiful, right? And that's so powerful. It's also such a clean energy, like, Julie is a very clear, maybe it's a clear frequency, I should say, where she is who she says she is, right? And she talks about she's a woman of action. And it's, if you see her at these events, she is just go, go, go. And she's just so sharp. Like, she can just go from one thing to the other because she's living her mission. That's just such another example. Like, our birthright is to live our mission. And I know a lot of times when we're young, others try to, guide us into paths that they think, because they love us, they guide us into paths that they think are going to bring, stability and safety to us. And so I think sometimes we forget about our own mission and what we were being drawn to. And I think it's really important right now, right here, and everything going on in the world today. We need everyone in the right swim lane. We need everyone living their passion and living their mission, because you are going to be the best person to do that, because it was given to you. That interest, that passion, that fire, that thing that keeps pulling at you, I would start pulling that thread and see where it takes you. And it can start in a really weird place, and that's where it's about trusting your gut, like Julie, I'm going to go work in an after-school program while I'm in school. And no, it ended up being the first stepping stone of a massively successful career where she has helped so many people and children. So I think it's important that we follow our joy, we follow that thread, and you stay open to it, and you allow it to carry you. And you keep kind of surrendering to that movement. And I know it's tricky. I trust me, I know it's tricky. And I hope together we figure this out, because like sometimes in the beginning it feels like when you're following your passion, you can't really figure out like how you're going to make money doing it. Like how is it going to support your family? And we are here on planet Earth, and so we need to have that exchange. But I do also believe that it comes, as long as you have the belief, right, that it comes. Julie talks a lot about the I guess discipline it took to get over a scarcity mentality. And you can imagine, right? She grew up surrounded by people that had been through the war and been through some horrible things, and so that out of love, they just accidentally plant these beliefs about scarcity around us, and it's hard to not take that on. And what I love about her is she's not just like, oh yeah, I just figured it out. No, she's like, it was hard. It was hard for a long time. That voice in your head that's always telling you something's going to go wrong. It's just you staying disciplined and quieting that voice. And honestly, taking action. I think one of the fastest way to calm that voice down is to move your body. I think about that a lot lately, where and even if it's like maybe you're one of those people that work out in the morning before work, and I've been wrestling with that a little bit lately too. Like, some people like to journal in the morning, and some people like to work out in the morning, and it feels a little and some people do both, right? Depending on the order. But when we wake up in the morning, there is a power there's two powers, right? There's one power of just get up, move your body, do some sort of a workout, but you got to move your body, get outdoors if you can, which is huge. And then kind of, assess the day and assess your situation, because everything looks better after you've moved your body, right? Like, and not only like biologically and through our anatomy, what happens when we start, pumping that oxygen through our body. And they're learning more and more, right? They're calling it the antidepressant without a pill, and everyone that works out consistently already knows that. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but I wouldn't underestimate that. If you're not a person that likes to work out, and again, working out could be anything. It's not just like getting in the car and going to the gym. It could be dancing in the morning. It could be yoga. It could be Pilates. It could be running, walking. It could literally be anything. It's just moving your body. And the more we realize our body is this just high-tech partner in our life with us, and learn it and understand it and give it what it needs, and then it helps clear our mind, right? And then you can deal with those voices that talk about scarcity and all the problems, and get back to gratitude. Get back to gratitude, forward motion, living your purpose, and helping others, right? Because that's when it all comes together. So it's really important that we don't get trapped in the story of our adversity. And I'm not saying pretend it doesn't happen, but you got to be very honest with yourself. You got to be very real with yourself. And if you're still talking about something that happened, decades ago, it still has you for a little bit. So whatever happened to you back then got you then. And if you're still carrying it with you, it still has you. So, right? I mean, I think it's just so important that we find our way. And again, I'm not saying it's easy, but we find our way to appreciate that adversity. Again, not forgive it or think be naive to say, woohoo, I'm so glad all that horrible stuff happened to me. No, it's more just saying, okay, it happened to me. It made me stronger. Now, what am I going to do with that strength? And that's what Julie did, right? Like she saw this and she used it as fuel. She used it as fuel. She didn't let it take her down. She's like, okay. And it's an alchemy, right? Emotions are energy in motion. And she took all those emotions and she alchemized them into fuel to do something amazing. And she's still doing something amazing. She has amazing children. I've gotten to meet her kids, an amazing husband. And again, I'm not saying everything's, roses and rainbows, and she'll be the first one to say that, right? No, it's life. It's real. Like, there's hard times. No one's perfect. It's all that, but they're moving forward and they're making moves and they're doing really well. And I think that's just such a tribute to all of them coming together as a family. She used the word commit a lot, commitment. And that word really sticks with me too, because there's so many sayings out there. It's funny, if you look it up, it's hard to say who originally said the saying, but I don't really care because it's a great saying. But basically, once you commit, you actually fully commit to something with all of you, the universe responds and basically conspires in your favor. I always get the visual of like the Harry Potter, if you're into the Harry Potter books and the movies, how when they would step on a staircase, like whatever, to go to their room, the staircase would move into, the direction of their room. That's how I see it. Once you've committed with all of you, which I think, again, being honest with ourselves, maybe we don't do that enough. Maybe we kind of half commit or almost commit. And guess what? The universe then half commits to you and half helps. But if you've ever had that moment when you just fully committed to something, you could just feel it. And then you just watch everything align for you. It has to, right? Like, it's not optional for the universe. You have just set that tone, that statement, that intention, and that is the design of the architecture of the universe, is it must align to your word. So be honest with yourself about if you're fully committed. So whatever you're doing right now, I'm going to challenge you. If you're listening to this, there's a reason. Are you fully committed? And then think back to the time when there could have been anything, but you fully committed, and what that felt like in your body and your mind and just your energy, all of it. And then just assess your life. Do a quick assessment. And, are you fully committed to the things in your life? And if you're not, why? Number one, are they the right things? Maybe you're not fully committing because they're not the right things. Or maybe they are the right things and you're not fully committing because you're afraid to fail. Whatever it might be, I think you just got to get honest with yourself. And me too, right? And because that space of full commitment, oh my gosh, it's such a peaceful place, right? Like even when the walls are crumbling down, if you have your own commitment to hold on to, it's such it just brings peace, right? It brings this too shall pass, right? I just know I am meant to do this, and this too shall pass. So I love challenging ourselves on that concept of commitment. And then once you're committed, you have to prove it through action. We have two legs for a reason, right? And we have hands and arms for a reason, because we are supposed to move. We are supposed to take action. And even the smallest action can add up. It doesn't really matter. Like, let's say you're in the middle of crazy life right now, right? Maybe the kids are young, or you're juggling so many things, but in the back of your mind, there's this thing that you love to do. There's this passion you have. Even if you just do one little thing towards it every day or every other day, the universe notices, right? And that all adds up. And there's a little trick in sales where, in sales it's a numbers game, and you have to make a lot of phone calls, and we used to call it connects, whether it's a phone call or talking to someone in person, it didn't matter. And some of it's statistics, right? That you have to have a certain number of outreaches before you actually make a yes. You get a yes. And I know a lot of top salespeople have two glasses, and the in the beginning of the day they have 10 marbles in the one glass, and then every phone call, whether it's a yes or no, they move a marble to the other glass, and it gives them that visual that even though maybe it didn't feel good, or maybe it didn't feel like anything happened, you just gave yourself that visual of, no, I made a move, and I believe the universe has to respond, and I'm going to make another move. And so even if I don't see anything for a little while, you have to know, and I'm telling you, it is doing something until it eventually breaks through and you create it in this dimension. But all of those are seeds that you're planting. So maybe get a visual like that. I think it's a pretty impactful, way to kind of convince yourself that what you're doing is making sense and is making a difference. Julie talks a lot about goals, and she was just one of those people that has a lot of goals. And I knew it. I know a lot of times when you're driven by a lot of different goals, a lot of times people around you will say, almost make you question yourself, am I just not a person that can be content? do I? And so I think you got to be a little careful with that and make sure that you can still be in the moment. But I also just think some people have so much of that divine energy flowing through them that it's fueling them and it's feeding them, and it's things that they're goals that they want to accomplish. And it's so important to have goals, and they can slip away from you, right? Where you have goals and then you achieve them, and then maybe you don't start building your next goal. So I just think having goals and challenging yourself with big goals is so important. What do they say? Shoot for the stars and you might just land on the moon. I read this book once, and it wanted you to write down 100 goals or things that you wanted in your life, 100 things. And that was hard for me. I probably got to the first 25, and then I was really struggling, and it took me a few days to get to 100. But it was a really cool exercise. I highly recommend it because, after you get through 50 or 60 of them, it starts becoming more granular, I don't know. I think one of my goals was something to make sure all the silverware in my silverware drawer matched, right? Because, how the spoons always disappear. I'm convinced they're all in all my kids' cars. I don't know. Do you lose spoons too? Because what's up with the spoons? But anyways, I look at that list a lot, and it's pretty inspiring, but in a different way. Obviously my big goals are in the top, but when you start getting into the little goals, you're almost inspiring yourself. It's really fascinating. I'm not finding my words around it right now, but I do highly recommend challenging yourself. Get out a piece of paper, write 1 to 100, and see if you can get to 100 goals and things that you want to manifest. And then look at it, right? Keep looking at it now and then, and see what it does to you, and if it inspires you and helps you get up in the morning, because there's a lot of magic that can happen in your life if you let it. If you start the day off, I guess, with that mentality. I already know this about Julie, and I don't know Julie that well, but she says how She loves helping people, and she loves when they win, and seeing other people succeed is an insane dopamine hit for her. Isn't that like so beautiful? Like, she's literally biologically wired to get a dopamine hit when someone else wins too. And sure, I'm sure she gets it when she wins, but when someone else wins, she gets that same dopamine hit. Beautiful, right? And it's like so powerful. It makes it like you're almost addicted to helping other people succeed. And that is so her, and I think that's why she will always be doing something. She has her Wealth Masters group right now, but she's so generous with her time and her advice. I mentioned to you I'm in a M&A group with her, and there was a form, there was a contract I needed an example of. And first off, not only was she like the first person to understand what I was asking for, because she's just so smart, I don't know, like just sent it to me within, I think, like 48 hours, like a sample copy, and like didn't expect anything in return, right? Like nothing in return. And it's so genuine. Even her being on my podcast, it was such a blessing. Like, I loved spending time with her, and she was a quick yes. She was like, yeah, I will absolutely support this passion project. So she's the real deal. She's just the real deal. If you ever see her out, the way she dresses, the way she carries herself, like, she's just her. Like, you know who Julie Roy is, and that is all her. So, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Maybe one more thing. She talked about she doesn't want to leave people behind, and she feels committed to that because of her past, watching the struggles that her mom went through and her grandparents, and she says, I don't think I would have had that grounding if I didn't have that adversity. And there is something really powerful when you're young and there's someone you love that is going through something really hard. It does change you, and then you see that in other people, right? Like she said, she'll see her mom and other people, and she wants to help them because she's been there. She knows what it's like, and somebody she loved went through it. And that's the thing, though. Like, she could have just like ran away, right? She could have just been like, oh yeah, I'm never doing this. See ya. Like, that's never gonna happen to me, and then not look back. But not only did she say, oh yeah, I'm changing things for me, I'm changing things for my family, and then I'm going to help change things to anyone that wants to come to me for help. That's what makes her, that final piece. Like, she's taking that ambition and all her blessings, that fire she has, that high energy, and she's putting her hand out to those coming up behind her and saying, yeah, let me help you. Like, this is how I did it. Let me help you. If more people did that, what a powerful world. Again, I'm not knocking people. I think sometimes you've been through so much, you can barely help yourself, let alone, start helping those around you. And I totally get that. I do think there's something that unlocks. I think that spiritually, when you are willing to help others, I think it can also help heal you pretty faster, and it also gives you more energy to do that. Again, I think the universe responds like, oh, I can work through this person, and they're going to do good things with everything I'm sending them. So, and I guess the other thing I love is how Julie and her husband are raising the kids about having a mission statement with the family, having expectations to be a good human, having those conversations with the kids. And they spend a lot of time together. One of her missions is to travel the globe. I think she wants, maybe they've already done it, and they may have finished it, but to visit every continent with the kids, and those experiences are priceless, right? She will never forget that, and what a beautiful gift to her children. And like I said, like, at a lot of these M&A conferences, her kids will be sitting right next to her. They want to learn. They want to, they're going to do amazing things too. And so I think it's really beautiful how it's not going to stop with her. She's really trying to bring those values and that all those feelings and humility, I guess, right? Like, she got to live the humility part, coming from nothing, and then she's just trying to share with her kids who maybe didn't have that firsthand, but if they can see what it was like for her and her parents and her grandparents, that maybe they'll see that in other people too. So she's bringing it forward, right? She's changing, she's stopping a cycle and she's creating a new cycle for the next generations, and then that will be part of her legacy. And listen, I'm talking a lot about Julie, but her husband has been such a partner through all this from day one. So big shout out to him, that steady force who believed in her and probably believes in her every single day. That is priceless. And, I want to give him a big thank you because it's helping Julie do what she's doing for the world. So thank you to all those that support the strong, powerful women making moves and aren't threatened by them, but they see the beauty in it all, and they want to help and be a part of it, and stabilize the family. And because they made a lot of sacrifices. I think I'm going long, so please forgive me, but again, Julie didn't like inherit this money. When you buy a company and scale it, it is a lot of work of your time, and they had young kids and they had to make that work. So there were sacrifices made by her husband, by her kids, by her, right? Because she saw something bigger being built and felt like that was and it was an important lesson for the kids to see that. And that is hard though. And I want to give a shout out so that we're not all pretending how easy this is. It was really hard. I'm sure she doubted herself a lot. I think there's a lot of those moments as a mom when you're just really hoping you're doing the right thing because you're following your instincts and it doesn't come with a manual. But I just really want to shine the light on her entire family, the kids, as well as her husband and her grandparents and everyone that supported that passion of hers, because it's resulting in helping a lot of people. And she's not done yet. She's got so much to do. I can't wait to see where it goes. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed the interview with Julie. Get to know her, buy her book. Like, reading her book, you're going to feel like you know her again. And I want to thank you for supporting the Powerful Women Off the Record podcast. And I hope you're enjoying it. So this has been Elizabeth Veely, and I will see you next time.